Welcome to another episode here at the free review for the Agriculturist Licensure Examination. In this episode, we will talk about topics that are under the crop production and management field ng crop science. Yeah, so let us start. So first, we will talk about sexual propagation and I will shoot another video about asexual propagation naman. So ayan, let's start. So plant propagation is the multiplication of plants while preserving their unique characteristics. There are two methods, which are sexual propagation, which utilizes seeds, and asexual propagation, which utilizes plant vegetative parts such as the roots, stems, and leaves. So seed is also considered as the basic input in crop production. So if ang ating seed supply ay hindi ganon ka-stable, may hirapan tayong mag-produce ng different crops which will translate into harvest. So in order for the seed na masabing okay sila or maganda sila, kailangan maganda ang kanyang seed vigor, maganda ang kanyang seed health, merong seed purity, and mataas ang kanilang seed germination. So that is like the ideal seed. So let us start this discussion by looking at the basic parts of the seed. So first, we have the seed coat, the outer protective layer of the seed, providing physical and chemical defense. So seed coat, in order for a seed to germinate, kailangan mo nang ma-penetrate ng water yung seed coat nila. Thus, meron tayong mga species katulad ng mango, pili, na kailangan pa ng tinatawag nating scarification para ma-penetrate ng water yung seed. Kung bakit kailangan ma-penetrate ng water, malalaman natin yan mamaya. So the next part is the embryo. So embryo is the developing plant within the seed, containing the essential structures for germination and growth. So kumbaga itong embryo, siya yung magiging halaman in the future. Ayun. And we also have the endosperm. So the endosperm is a nutrient-rich tissue surrounding the embryo, serving as the food source during the early stages of germination. So in our past series, which is yung about crop physiological processes, we discussed about respiration, di ba? Tapos sa respiration, ang kanyang reactant ay carbohydrates or sugar. So in the case of the seed, the sugars are in the endosperm. So dito kumukuha ng food na nagmo-mobilize ng growth noong plant. Again, sa respiration, ang sabi natin doon, ang napoproduce niya ay energy. So yung energy, siya yung ginagamit ng plant para tumubo yung plant. So yun ay nasa endosperm. So here are some of the seed quality attributes. Ayan. So genetic, so varietal identity and purity, uniformity of seed lots, ayan. Tas health, physical, size and analytical, ano lang yan, ano yung components niya, moisture content, something like that. So physiological, moisture content, germination, vigor, and dormancy. So those are some of the seed quality attributes. Now let us talk about the seed germination process. So ito yung seed germination process in a nutshell. We have imbibition, activation of metabolism, hydrolysis or the digestion of food reserves, translocation to the embryo, and cell division and growth. So let us start with the process of imbibition. So imbibition might be a very deep term, but it only means it is the absorption of water to hydrate seeds. It is the initial absorption of water to hydrate seeds. In higher crop science courses, meron tayong tinatawag na BBCH scale. So sa BBCH scale, it is just a description of every stage ng growth ng isang halaman. So we call that phenological studies. So phenology, yung time, parang ano nangyari throughout the time. Ayun. So, yung imbibition, karaniwan, na ano yan, from BBCH 00, ayan. So, yung BBCH 00 natin, ayun yung hard seed. Then, kapag nag-imbibe na ng water, that is BBCH 03 na siya. Ayun. So, this description ay yung ating tinatawag na BBCH scale. Ito ay ginagamit to standardize kung yung growth ng several crops. And not all of our crops ay meron ng BBCH scale. So some of the species that we have are still being established when it comes to the phenological stages nila. Ayun. So this was actually my undergraduate thesis then, wherein I look at the ontogenetic development of tapilan, and it is already published in a journal. So the next step is the activation of metabolism. So in the activation of metabolism, there is an increased respiration and protein synthesis. So dito sa activation niya, dito na ginagamit yung carbohydrates na nasa endosperm, and na-activate na yung respiration, then nag-synthesize na ng proteins. Pagkatapos noon, pupunta na tayo sa hydrolysis, which is the digestion of reserved food. For example, starch to sugars in the cotyledon or endosperm. Kapag meron ng mga enzymes that can break down yung ating mga food reserves, yung starch kunwari, doon na siya pupunta. So kaya i-break down yun, ayan, kaya hydrolysis siya, di ba? So breakdown of starch to sugars para mas madali siyang i-transport. Again, translocation, i-transport at mas mapalaki yung ating seed na nagde-develop. Yan, translocation to embryo. So sugars move to embryo for growth. So yung sugars from the endosperm pupunta sa embryo para lumaki na yung ating embryo. And lastly, cell division and growth. So dito nangyayari na karaniwan ng seedling emergence and growth. So the germination process, let's say for example in the case of leguminous crops, can happen within like 1 to 2 days yan. Actually, can happen in hours lang. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na BBCH scale, and this is in the case of beans. Ito ay sitaw. Ayan. This was our output nung sa masters, tapos may course kami na crop seed physiology. So gumawa kami ng maraming ganito. So imbibition complete. Paano mo masasabi na complete na yung imbibition? Kasi parang kumakawala na yung seed dun sa mismong seed coat. Ayun, may break na dyan. Tapos, radical, ayan, nagsisimula na lumabas yung radical. Then, meron tayong radical elongation dito. Then, dito na yung hypocotyl breaks through the seed coat. So this is the process of seed germination. So now let us go to the types of germination patterns. We have hypogeal germination and epigeal germination. Kapag hypogeal germination, naiiwan sa baba yung cotyledons. Like in here, in the case of corn, ayan, kita natin na yung cotyledons ay nasa baba, tapos ito na yung kanyang shoot, di ba? So dito naman, ito yung epigeal germination kung saan sumasama sa taas yung kanyang cotyledons. And this is ampalaya. So hypogeal, naiiwan sa baba. Epigeal germination ay umaakyat yung cotyledons sa taas ng lupa. Then we also have what we call vivipary. So vivipary somehow is kapag nakakabit pa yung mga seeds sa loob ng plant, tumutubo na sila. Ganon yung kanyang illustration. So ito, vivipary in the case of tomato. Yung vivipary, nangyayari rin yan sa like sunflower. Ayun. Okay, so what type of germination is this? I hope that you are answering. So I hope that you answered hypogeal germination kasi naiiwan sa baba ito. Ayan, yung kanyang cotyledons. Yan. So this crop is rubber. Okay, now let's go to the requirements for seed germination. So it must be mature and viable. Seed dormancy must be overcome. Seed must be subjected to the appropriate environmental conditions. When we discussed about respiration episodes ago, sinabi ko doon na merong certain oxygen level na kailangan para mag-germinate ng isang crop. Yeah, so in that case, generally, around 10% dapat yung oxygen. Kaya hindi nag-germinate yung ating mga seeds na for example, nakakulong sa plastic o kaya naka-vacuum sealed or yung packets na aluminum, yung mga yon. So, hindi sila nag-germinate kasi ang onti ng oxygen doon. So, not enough oxygen to respire. So, ano nga ba yung mga appropriate environmental conditions? So, first, sufficient water, proper oxygen supply, favorable temperature, light, optional for photoblastic seeds. Yan. So, suitable medium or substrate. Yan. So, either soil, coco peat, yan, tissue. So, dapat meron tong mga conditions na ito. So, kapag sinabi natin seed vigor, it refers to the potential of a seed lot to germinate and produce healthy seedlings under a wide range of environmental conditions. So here in these two microwavable containers na ginamit namin sa experiment namin, alin kaya dito ang may mas mataas na seed vigor? So I hope that you answered that the left one, yung may mas mataas na seed vigor. Kasi dito parang hindi lahat ng seeds ay nag-germinate ng maganda. Same day silang tinanim. Ayun. So ito may mga dahon na at may makita ka ng mga iba-ibang stages. So unlike here, hindi pa sila gano'n ka-vigorous. Ayun. So itong mga nakikita nyo dyan ng mga parang black-black, ayun yung mga seed coat na nila yan na natatanggal. Okay, now let us talk about dormancy. So primary dormancy is the dormancy acquired during development, inherent in the seed at time of harvesting. So ayun yung tinatawag nating primary. So acquired during development. Later, i-contrast natin sila sa secondary dormancy. Okay. So exogenous or coat-imposed dormancy. So that's a type of primary dormancy. So it inhibits water imbibition katulad ng yung ilang mga beans, ayan yung cotton, inhibits oxygen gas exchange. Ayan, for example, yung sa apple, have you inspected yung seed ng apple? 'Di ba sobrang tigas ng parang labas niya? Ayun. So it inhibits oxygen gas exchange, restricts embryo enlargement. Ayun. So ayun yung coat-imposed dormancy. Katulad nga rin ng sinabi ko kanina, yung ating pili, mango, yung mga ganun na kailangan pang biyakin bago sila mag-germinate. Then we also have endogenous or physiological dormancy. So dito naman, it could be the presence of a chemical inhibitor, embryo dormancy, pwede rin, and light sensitivity. Ayan, so ang example siguro, yung sa lettuce nga, na kailangan niya ng light para siya ay tumubo. Hindi, may time dati nung nag-try ako magpatubo ng lettuce, tapos tinakpan ko siya, like sabay-sabay kasi with other crops. Tapos ayun pala, mali pala yung ginawa ko. Dapat pala, ang lettuce is gina-germinate sa may light. Then we also have secondary dormancy. So, secondary dormancy naman is a dormancy acquired during seed maturity. Ayun. So, sa secondary dormancy, possible that it could be due to light. Another one is due to temperature. Yan. So, may mga ilan kasi na kailangan ng high temperature para mag-germinate. Tapos, pwede ring water stress, oxygen delivery, yung mga yan. So, here are some of the techniques na pwedeng gamitin on breaking seed dormancy. First, scarification. Yan. So, ang scarification sa ipil-ipil can be done using a sandpaper. So, we had an activity back then when I was teaching sa university na yung seed ng ipil-ipil kasi para siyang seed din ng apple na meron siyang shiny na seed coat. Medyo makapal yung seed coat. So, ang ginagawa, kinakaskas siya sa sandpaper. Then, we can also do clipping in cashew nut using pliers. Ayan. And soaking then in cashew nuts. So, here are some of the methods of viability testing. Ayun. So, ang viability, kung kaya ba niya mag-germinate at mag-produce ng healthy seedling under suitable conditions. So, ayan. Germination test. Karaniwan ng ginagamit sa germination test ay tissue paper, pwede na yon. Tapos maglalagay ka lang din ng 100 na seeds. Tapos after, let's say for example, 2 days or 3 days, you will count how many number of seeds, how many seeds have germinated in that specific tray. So that's one. Another is the tetrazolium test. Here in this illustration sa gilid, we can see here itong red. So sa tetrazolium test, it involves using a tetrazolium salt solution that is colorless but turns red when reduced by dehydrogenase enzymes that are present in living cells. So dead cells lacking this enzymatic activity will not stain. So kaya kapag merong staining na nangyari, ibig sabihin living yung cells, thus the seed is viable. And we also have the flotation method, which is, I think, one of the common na ginagamit sa field. Ayun. So, ilalagay mo lang sa water yung seeds natin. Lahat ng lulutang ay hindi viable. Yung mga lulubog sila yung viable. We also have the classification of seeds based on storage behavior. Ayan. So we have the orthodox seeds and we also have the recalcitrant seeds. Yeah. So all orthodox seeds can withstand dehydration to around 5% even when maturation drying is not completed prior to shedding. So, ang example sa mga orthodox seeds natin ay rice, corn, most of our vegetables, tas yung legumes natin. Yan. So, recalcitrant seeds naman, these are seeds which lose viability if moisture content is reduced below some high critical values. Ayan, katulad ng ayan, 12 to 30% and if stored below 15 degrees Celsius. Ayan. So examples are mango, durian, coconut, lanzones, rambutan, cacao, and jackfruit. So I can remember na merong parang item dati na tinanong kong which of the following will be the one who's gonna lose viability. So among the choices, ang pinili ko na lang is yung recalcitrant seed doon. Compared to our orthodox seeds, like for example, rice or yung mga beans natin, they can really withstand conditions. Ayan, various conditions kasi tinry sila. Then we also have our intermediate seeds. So seeds lose viability more rapidly at low temperatures than at warmer temperatures. So ito yung mga example, coffee, papaya, African oil palm, royal palm, citrus. So these are some of the terms na nagagamit under propagation by seed, or ating sexual propagation. We have seed processing, which may include extraction, yan, katulad ng sa rice, yung threshing natin. We also have cleaning, fermentation, yan, yung fermentation sa coffee, cacao, ganyan. Drying, storage, etc. Ayan. So seed viability naman, it is the ability of the seed to germinate and produce a normal seedling under favorable conditions. Seed dormancy is a physical or physiological condition of a viable seed that prevents germination even in the presence of otherwise favorable conditions. So as discussed a while back, this could be exogenous and endogenous dormancy. Okay, so we also have seed storage behavior. Ito yung mga types katulad ng orthodox seed, intermediate seed, and recalcitrant seeds. And in terms of the pre-treatment of seeds, meron din tayong mga pwedeng gamitin. Pwede tayong gumamit ng fungicide katulad ng metalaxyl to prevent certain diseases katulad ng downy mildew. Ayun. And temperature treatment katulad ng vernalization. This is being done in the case of radish. Ayun. So pwedeng ang ginagawa sa vernalization is ini-store muna sila sa cold na room or sa refrigerator, then bago sila i-try na i-germinate. Ayun. Then we also have inoculants such as microbial inoculants. Ayun. So sa inoculants naman, gumagamit ng biological mga bacteria, fungi in order to increase the likelihood of germination. And that's it for this video about sexual propagation. See you in the next one. Bye.